From the Lineweaver Wealth Watch Center, this is the Financial Quarterback.
Hi, I'm Jim Lineweaver, your financial quarterback since 1993. You know, with the first half of the year behind us, what we want to do is take a look at the market so far and also share some thoughts on what we expect for the rest of the year. So here to help us is Chartered Financial Analyst and the head of our investment committee, Herman. So Jerry, what were some of the highlights of the year so far?
Well, there's been a lot of concerns about the economy, right? Inflation, interest rates, bank failures, debt ceiling. Yet with that, the markets had a pretty healthy start. Through mid-June, the S&P is up about 16%. The Dow is up 3%, the NASDAQ's up a whopping 30%, and the bond index is up about 3%. So it's been a pretty good recovery from a very rough 2022.
Yeah, because in 2022, it was only the third time in the history there were declines in both the stocks and the bond markets in the same year. So the markets reached a low back in October.
Yep, hit a low October 12th of last year. Since then, the S&P is up 24%, and the bond index is up 5%.
Yeah, so help us understand what might happen for the rest of the year based on really what's happened in the past.
Well, usually a good start leads to a pretty strong full-year performance. One study indicates that when the market's up through May, it tends to return on average about 8% for the rest of the year. When it's not up through May or down, it only returns about 5%. And another more optimistic study suggests that if the market's up 8% or more through the first 100 days, then it tends to lead to an average increase of 25% for the full year.
Wow, pretty good numbers.
Yep.
So we mentioned that last year was only the third time in history when stocks and bonds were both down in the same year. But what's really in store for us for fixed income?
Well, rates have risen, right? The Fed has increased in 10 consecutive meetings, the most rapid pace since the 1980s. Bond yields are at the highest they've been in more than a decade. So investors can generate a more attractive return on the fixed income portion of their portfolio.
So let's talk about the second half of the year. The Fed has the challenge of increasing rates to reduce inflation without throwing the economy into recession, and that's not going to be easy. So I think there's only been one time in over the past 60 years that the Fed has been able to navigate the soft landing. So what do we see going forward?
Well, interest rates and inflation are really important, but there are other issues. We might have to live with inflation a bit longer. The labor markets are tight. Consumer balance sheets are in pretty good order. So investors should think about what that means for the purchasing power of their portfolio. As we look in the second half of the year, we'll look at things like the possibility of a recession, obviously, the health of the financial system, the war in Ukraine, a potential conflict in Taiwan, and early developments around the 2024 election.
Jerry, thanks for all that great information. You know, with this level of uncertainty out there, it's really important to make sure you know what's going on in your portfolio so that you can take advantage of these opportunities that can present themselves through the rest of the year. We have a great software that we can use that'll be complimentary for you if you'd like. Just give us a call for a second opinion, and we'd be happy to help you out. Stay tuned for Fox News Sunday.